All right, let's dive in. Today, we're taking a deep dive into Blue Origin's New Glenn rocket.
Hmm.
And we're going to be going straight to the source for this one.
Okay.
We're using Blue Origin's own website and their descriptions to try and understand their vision for this
Right.
behemoth.
Yeah, it's fascinating to see their perspective on the future of space travel,
Yeah.
straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. And,
Yeah.
the claims they're making about this rocket named after, John Glenn himself.
Yeah, so let's unpack this. One of the biggest things about New Glenn is that it is designed for reusability,
Right.
with its first stage capable of at least 25 flights.
Wow.
Can you imagine if airplanes were single use?
Oh, my gosh.
That's essentially how we've been approaching rockets until recently.
Yeah, it's true. Imagine the cost and the waste involved in building a new jumbo jet after every single, transatlantic flight.
Oh, yeah.
Reusability with New Glenn could drastically reduce, those factors and make space travel more affordable and sustainable.
Yeah, it's a huge change for the industry. And then there's the sheer size of this thing.
Oh, yes, massive.
It's over 320 feet tall.
Wow.
That puts it taller than the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
And it has a 7-meter fairing.
So,
Now, for those who don't know, the fairing is essentially the nose cone of the rocket.
yeah, the top part.
Yeah, and New Glenn's is twice the volume of most.
That's not just about building a bigger rocket for the sake of it.
No.
That huge fairing means that you can fit larger and heavier payloads inside,
Right.
which opens up possibilities for, more ambitious missions.
Yeah.
Think about, launching giant space telescopes that can peer deeper into the universe, or even, modular habitats that could be assembled in space
Yeah,
for lunar base or something like that.
so many possibilities. Speaking of impressive, New Glenn is powered by 7 BE4 engines.
That's a lot of power.
Yeah, and these engines use liquefied natural gas, which Blue Origin claims is a cleaner burning fuel than
Okay.
traditional kerosene-based rocket fuel.
That's an important point. And it ties into, the growing awareness of the environmental impact of space travel.
Right.
While liquefied natural gas uh, does produce less black carbon, which is a major pollutant,
Mm-hmm.
it's crucial to remember that it still releases carbon dioxide,
Oh, right.
which is a greenhouse gas.
So it's a step in the right direction, but not a completely green solution.
Yeah,
It sounds like there's a lot more to consider when it comes to the environmental impact of these rockets.
absolutely.
Even the reusable ones.
Yeah, and we'll definitely delve deeper into those aspects later in our deep dive.
Okay.
But for now, let's get back to New Glenn's capabilities.
Okay.
This rocket is designed to reach a variety of orbits,
Okay.
from low Earth orbit, where the International Space Station is located,
Right.
to geostationary orbit, which is much farther out,
Mm-hmm.
where satellites stay fixed over one spot on Earth, like those used for GPS.
Oh, okay. So whether it's launching satellites for communication or scientific missions to study distant planets, or even future space tourism ventures, New Glenn seems equipped to handle a wide range of tasks.
Yeah, it seems like a very versatile system.
What's really striking is the list of partners who are already signed up to use New Glenn.
Oh, yeah.
It's a pretty diverse group.
Okay, tell me about it.
Well, you have Amazon's Project Kuiper, which aims to provide global internet coverage
Right.
with a constellation of satellites.
Hmm.
Then there's Telesat working on a similar project.
I see.
And even NASA has partnered with Blue Origin for a potential mission to Mars,
Wow.
which showcases the rocket's versatility and power.
Yeah, it's interesting how those partnerships signal confidence in New Glenn's capabilities,
Yeah.
even before its first launch.
Right.
It's like a vote of confidence from some major players in the space industry.
Absolutely. And all of this is happening at Blue Origin's base in Florida at the historic Cape Canaveral.
Wow, what a location.
I know, right?
Steeped in history.
And they've built a state-of-the-art manufacturing and launch complex there.
Oh.
They emphasize that everything from building the rocket to launching it and
Wow.
refurbishing it all happens within a 9-mile radius.
That sounds incredibly efficient.
Yeah, like a well-oiled machine
Yeah.
designed to streamline the entire process.
Yeah, it speaks to their vision of creating a self-contained space ecosystem.
Yeah.
Not just launching rockets, but managing the entire life cycle in one location.
But perhaps the most ambitious part of their vision, and this is where things get really interesting,
Okay.
is their idea of using New Glenn to move heavy industries and eventually people into space.
Wow.
They want to preserve Earth as humanity's blue origin.
That's a bold vision, and it certainly sparks the imagination.
But what does moving heavy industry to space actually entail?
Yeah.
What kind of industries are we talking about, and what would be the concrete benefits beyond the poetic notion of preserving Earth?
Yeah, those are crucial questions, and we'll need to explore them in more depth
Okay.
to understand the feasibility and implications of such a grand plan. It's easy to get swept up in the excitement of space travel,
Oh, yeah.
but we also need to consider the practicalities,
Yeah.
the costs,
Yeah.
and the potential challenges of such a massive undertaking.
It's a balancing act
It is.
between ambition and realism, between dreaming big and grounding those dreams in practical considerations.
Exactly, and as we continue our deep dive, we'll delve into those complexities, examining the potential benefits and drawbacks of Blue Origin's vision for New Glenn
Yeah, right.
and its role in shaping the future of humanity's relationship with space.
Sounds good. I'm excited to keep going.
Me too.
Yeah.
So welcome back to our deep dive into Blue Origin's New Glenn.
All right, picking up where we left off.
Last time we were discussing, their vision of moving heavy industry off planet.
Yeah.
A pretty mind-boggling idea.
It definitely raises a lot of questions. What exactly would that look like? And what kind of impact would it have on our Earth and our future in space?
Well, imagine if we could move things like energy-intensive manufacturing or even mining operations to space. Let's say we start mining asteroids for resources instead of depleting Earth's reserves.
That sounds like something straight out of science fiction.
It does.
But how feasible is it really? Wouldn't the cost of transporting materials and building infrastructure in space be astronomical?
It's certainly a massive undertaking, and the cost would be significant, at least initially.
Yeah.
But remember, we're talking about a long-term vision here.
Okay.
As technology advances and space travel becomes more affordable, the economics could shift.
And Blue Origin claims that New Glenn's reusability will be a game changer in terms of cost reduction.
Right.
But even if it becomes economically viable, are there ethical considerations we need to think about
Oh, absolutely.
when it comes to exploiting resources in space?
Just because we can do something doesn't necessarily mean we should.
Right.
We need to consider the potential impact on the space environment and establish clear guidelines for responsible resource extraction.
It's like the Wild West out there.
Yeah, it is. It's a new frontier.
Who owns the asteroids anyway? And how do we prevent conflicts over resources or damage to celestial bodies?
Those are crucial questions, and it's an area where international cooperation and agreements will be essential.
Yeah.
The Outer Space Treaty of 1967 provides a framework,
Okay.
but it's somewhat vague on issues of resource ownership and commercial exploitation.
Uh-huh.
As space becomes more accessible,
Right.
we'll need to revisit these agreements and establish clearer guidelines for responsible behavior.
It sounds like a legal and ethical minefield.
It can be,
Sure.
but it's important to start thinking about these things now.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about something a bit more concrete.
Okay.
We touched on the environmental impact of space travel earlier.
Right.
How does New Glenn stack up in terms of sustainability, especially given its size and the powerful BE-4 engines?
It's true that even with cleaner burning fuels like liquefied natural gas, rockets still produce emissions that contribute to climate change.
Right.
And the manufacturing process for a rocket as large and complex as New Glenn undoubtedly has a significant environmental footprint.
So is there a way to make space travel more sustainable? Are there alternative propulsion systems on the horizon that could minimize the impact?
There's a lot of exciting research happening in that area.
Right.
One promising avenue is electric propulsion,
Okay.
which is already used for some satellites,
Right.
but not yet powerful enough for large-scale launches.
What about those futuristic concepts we see in science fiction, like nuclear fusion or antimatter propulsion? Are those even remotely realistic?
Those are further out on the technological horizon for sure.
Yeah.
Nuclear fusion has immense potential as a clean energy source,
Right.
but we're still grappling with the scientific and engineering challenges of harnessing it for space travel.
And antimatter.
Yeah,
That still feels like something straight out of Star Trek.
it's definitely more theoretical at this point.
Yeah.
Antimatter is incredibly powerful, but incredibly difficult to produce and contain.
Right.
While it might seem like a distant dream, it's a reminder that scientific progress often surprises us. And what seems impossible today might become reality tomorrow.
That's a hopeful thought. But in the meantime, what can be done to make existing rocket technology more sustainable? Blue Origin emphasizes New Glenn's reusability, but what about the manufacturing process itself?
That's an important area for improvement.
Yeah.
Using more sustainable materials, reducing waste, and finding ways to recycle components are all essential steps.
And Blue Origin mentioned that everything from manufacturing to launch to refurbishment
Yeah.
happens within a 9-mile radius at their Florida facility.
Yeah.
Is that a step towards greater sustainability?
It certainly helps. That concentrated approach minimizes transportation needs,
Okay.
which reduces their carbon footprint. It also suggests a commitment to streamlining operations and minimizing waste.
It sounds like they're trying to be mindful of the environmental impact, but there's always room for improvement,
So-
right?
Absolutely. Space exploration is an incredible endeavor,
Yeah.
but we need to ensure that it's done responsibly and sustainably. It's not just about reaching for the stars, but also about taking care of the planet that launched us into the cosmos.
Well said. Speaking of reaching for the stars,
Yes.
one of the most captivating aspects of New Glenn is its potential to open up new frontiers in space exploration. What are some of the most exciting possibilities you see emerging with this rocket?
Well, the sheer size and payload capacity of New Glenn will enable missions that were previously inconceivable.
Oh, wow.
Imagine launching large-scale space telescopes that could unlock the secrets of the universe, or sending robotic missions to distant planets and moons to search for signs of life.
It's incredible to think about the scientific discoveries that might be possible with this rocket.
It is.
But beyond scientific exploration, are there other applications for New Glenn that could benefit humanity in more tangible ways?
One area that holds immense potential is space-based solar power.
Okay.
Imagine capturing solar energy in space.
Right.
Where the sun is always shining and beaming it back to Earth as a clean and sustainable energy source.
That sounds like a game changer.
It could be.
It could revolutionize the way we generate and distribute energy, reducing our reliance on fossil fuels and combating climate change.
Exactly. And New Glenn's ability to lift heavy payloads into orbit could make such ambitious projects more feasible.
Right.
Of course, there are still many technical and logistical hurdles to overcome,
Yeah.
but the potential benefits are enormous.
It's exciting to think about the possibilities.
Yeah.
But it also raises questions about who would control and benefit from such technology.
Right.
Would it be accessible to all, or would it further concentrate power and resources in the hands of a few?
That's a crucial societal and ethical question that we need to address
Yeah,
as space exploration becomes more commercialized.
right.
It's essential to ensure that the benefits of space are shared equitably and that we don't replicate the inequalities we see on Earth.
It's a reminder that space exploration is not just about technological advancement,
Right.
but also about social responsibility and ensuring that our ventures into the cosmos benefit all of humanity.
Precisely. And as we delve deeper into the potential applications of New Glenn,
Yeah.
we need to be mindful of these ethical considerations and strive for a future where space exploration is both bold and equitable.
Well, this discussion has certainly opened my eyes to the vast possibilities
Yeah.
and the complex challenges associated with New Glenn and the future of space exploration. But beyond the technology and the grand visions,
Right.
there's a human element to all of this
Absolutely.
that we haven't fully explored yet.
You're absolutely right. The human dimension of space exploration is perhaps the most fascinating and the most important aspect of all.
And that's a perfect segue to the final part of our deep dive.
It is.
Where we'll delve into the ethical and philosophical implications
Okay.
of expanding humanity's presence beyond Earth.
Join us as we explore the profound questions that arise when we contemplate the future of our species among the stars.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into Blue Origin's New Glenn. It's been quite a journey so far, exploring the technology, the potential applications, and even some of the ethical dilemmas surrounding this ambitious rocket.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground, from the potential for moving heavy industries off planet to the search for more sustainable ways to travel through space. But as you mentioned, there's a human element to all of this that we need to unpack.
Exactly. We've talked about New Glenn's ability to launch bigger and heavier payloads, opening up possibilities for more ambitious missions and even human settlements beyond Earth. But what about the impact on us as a species? What kind of future are we creating by expanding our presence into the cosmos?
That's one of the most profound questions we can ask ourselves. As we venture further into space, we're not just exploring new worlds, but also exploring new facets of our own humanity.
It's like holding up a mirror to ourselves, but on a cosmic scale. What do we see reflected back at us? Do we see a future where humanity embraces exploration and collaboration, or one where we repeat the mistakes of our past, carrying our conflicts and divisions into the cosmos?
It's a choice we have to make, both individually and collectively. Space exploration is a reflection of our values, our aspirations, and our choices.
Yeah.
It can be a force for good, inspiring us to push the boundaries of knowledge and understanding, fostering collaboration across nations, and reminding us of our shared humanity on this pale blue dot we call home.
That's beautifully put. But there are also potential risks, right? We've seen how competition for resources and territory has fueled conflicts throughout human history. Is there a danger that those same patterns could repeat themselves in space?
It's a valid concern and one we need to be vigilant about. As space becomes more accessible and commercially viable, the potential for competition and conflict over resources, territory, or strategic advantage will likely increase.
So how do we prevent that? How do we ensure that space exploration is a force for peace and cooperation rather than a new arena for conflict?
It will require a concerted effort on multiple fronts. We need to strengthen international cooperation and agreements, establishing clear guidelines for responsible behavior in space, promoting transparency and communication, and fostering a sense of shared stewardship for the cosmos.
It sounds like we're talking about a new kind of diplomacy, a cosmic diplomacy, where nations and organizations come together to manage our collective presence in space.
Exactly. We need to think beyond national borders and embrace a global perspective, recognizing that the challenges and opportunities of space exploration are something we face together as a species.
It's a call for unity and collaboration at a time when the world often feels divided. But it's also an incredibly hopeful vision, suggesting that space exploration could be a catalyst for bringing humanity together.
It has that potential, but it will require a conscious effort to make it a reality. We need to foster a sense of shared destiny, recognizing that our future in space is intertwined with our future on Earth.
It's a powerful message and one that resonates deeply. As we conclude our deep dive into Blue Origin's New Glenn, what are some final thoughts you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Well, New Glenn is an impressive feat of engineering and a symbol of humanity's ambition to reach for the stars. But it's just one step on a much longer journey, a journey that will challenge us to confront fundamental questions about ourselves, our values, and our place in the universe.
It's a journey full of possibilities and uncertainties, of wonders yet to be discovered, and choices that will shape the future of humanity for generations to come.
So let's embark on this journey with a sense of wonder and responsibility, with open minds and a willingness to learn and adapt. Let's explore the cosmos with both boldness and humility, ensuring that our ventures into space are a reflection of our best selves.
Beautifully said. It's been an incredible deep dive exploring not just a rocket, but the broader implications of humanity's expanding presence in space. Thank you for sharing your insights and helping us navigate these complex and fascinating questions.
It's been my pleasure, and thank you for inviting me to join you on this journey of discovery.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Blue Origin's New Glenn. We hope it sparked your curiosity and inspired you to contemplate the future we're creating together both on Earth and among the stars.